Hey people, what's up? My name is Emmanuel, and today I want to talk a little bit about what I do as an actor. One tip I give to actors, young actors, and people like myself who want to make it is that number one, acting is, I'll probably say, 70% mental and maybe 30% physical. Put a lot of effort in your mind. I try to read monologues every day. I try to read scripts every day. Even if I don't have an audition coming up, I just get a material, maybe some old material. There's a really good website, I think it's called SLUG. I'll put the link in the description. It's very good. You can get scripts from different films, blockbuster films all over the world. The mind is a muscle. That's how I look at it. Just like you're working out, you gotta push yourself. So the same thing with your mind. You have to work out your mind, exercise your mind, so that when you get that big break or you have an audition coming up, you don't have to get used to memorizing your line. You're used to that process. So it's just like muscle memory. You just boom, you access that part of your brain that is used to taking lines and transforming lines and evoking emotions with those lines. So that's how I look at it. And apart from just memorizing lines, another tip I would give young actors like myself, because I'm still very, very young, put more of your effort in understanding your character and the storyline. I would say put 90% of your effort into understanding the character and storyline. If I had an audition tomorrow or I had to be on set tomorrow and I only got my script tonight, what I would do is I would spend 90% of the time between preparation and execution. I'll spend most of that time understanding the character and then spend the rest of the time with the lines. I feel like lines come automatically when you understand your character, because the truth of the matter is that in this industry, everything is spontaneous and last minute. You've got your material prepared and you arrive on set and the director could just tell you that, oh, actually, I don't want to do this way. I want it to be this way instead, or I want it to be delivered this way instead. So if you put all your effort on memorizing those lines word for word, you just come on set and you're taken off balance because you're so used to a particular process, a system. It happens a lot on set. So I always tell people it's better to understand your character. Put more effort, put most of your time in understanding your character and understanding the storyline, and then the lines come automatically. Obviously, know your lines. That's important. That's like the foundation. But your character is what everything is where those lines are going to stem from. I would say put more attention into understanding your character more than you do with your lines. Learn your lines, work your mind as a muscle, push yourself, challenge yourself. You can learn like 20 lines a day. You know, on average, you only get like 12 lines in a scene, depending on the character you're playing in the scene. Maybe 12, 6 lines minimum, you know, depending on the scene and the character you're playing. But push yourself, learning 20 lines. I just did one recently. I've had to learn like 21 lines. That's the most lines I've ever learned for just one scene, you know. But then again, it was a scene from a play, so it was not a film, you know. But push yourself, learn lines and all that, but more importantly, understand your character, because everything that happens in a story, everything your character will do stems from in here, the personality of the character. So understand your character, what your character is like, how your character responds to different situations. So with TV, I always tell people, because you don't get to practice with the person that you're going to be acting with, it's best to keep an open mind and understand your character. And it's even perfect because then you can react to what the other person says. Because if the person comes on set and says, oh, I'm not going to follow the script, I'm going to improvise in some areas, but you're following the script and it says something that isn't in line with what you were supposed to respond to, it's going to throw you off balance. So that's where understanding the character and the storyline comes into play. You got to be able to bounce off the other character, which is why I put more emphasis on understanding who my character is and the part they play in their storyline more than I do in what they say, you know, because what they say is based on who they are. So that's just my little tip, my little advice in my young career that has helped me and that I'm continuing to develop and grow on, and I'm sure it can help a lot of people as well that want to be actors. Also, final thing for me, just expose yourself to different people. I'm an introvert, but I've learned to experience things from people's perspective, communicate with people. You will never know how to play certain characters if you haven't met certain people that are similar to the character you're playing. So that's why I expose myself to different people, different environments. It's very, very important, understanding how people work. If I'm playing a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer and I don't know anyone who's a lawyer. That's where networking would be good. If I know someone who's a lawyer, I can be like, okay, let me study him, how he works, how he does his thing. So if I'm playing that character, I can take some personalities from my friend who's a lawyer and use that. So that's one thing that I like to do. that I'm learning to do, even though I'm quite shy, I'm an introvert. I'm learning to expose myself to different people in different environments and get different perspectives, and get in people's heads and just understand how they do things and how they react to certain situations, knowing full well that I'm not going to react to something the way someone else will react to that thing. So I want my character to have a variety of, okay, I can be myself, but at the same time I can create a human being from scratch and use that human being and deliver it as a character. There's a lot that goes into acting. That's what I said at the start. It's more mental than physical. Having said that, still keep your physical there. Obviously, the first thing a casting director is going to see is what you look like from a picture, your headshots or your photographs. So they want to see that you look the part before they hear you or they see you perform. So it's very important that you look the part as well physically. If you're someone who's into like action films or all of that stuff, make sure you look in shape. You look like someone who can play that role. If you take anything away from this long video, hopefully that is helpful to you. I would say that the mind is a muscle. Work your mind, learn your lines, but don't put too much emphasis on the lines. Understand the character. That's the main thing. If you learn the lines without understanding the character, you won't know how the character is supposed to deliver those lines. But if you understand the character first and then you go ahead and learn those lines, then you can just understand how the character says those lines. I can say, hey, how are you? In 3 different emotions. Hey, how are you? Well, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? All right, peace out.